Do you think therapy is useful?
I do. I think we talk a lot about skillful means. And another thing that I've seen along the road, practicing is something that Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche referred to as spiritual materialism. And that's an interesting thing where we have these blind spots, all of us human beings, whether we're Zen students or not. But I've seen in myself and I've seen in others a kind of spiritual materialism that can happen when we practice hard and maybe we think we're getting somewhere in our realization. Maybe we pass 5 koans or 10 or 20 or something. You know, maybe we fast for a month, or we do 1,000 vows a day, or all of these things, you know, or we stay up all night long. And we feel a little special about ourselves after such things. And it's very easy to take your same tendency from your Zen practice and just make it another ego thing. And we've seen tons of harm done in the name of spiritual stuff, not only in the Zen tradition, but all the traditions. You know, remember Rajneesh? Anybody here familiar with Rajneesh?
Rajneesh,
Yeah, so he was one of the first, I think that was one of the first, after Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, that was one of the first books I ever read. I think it was called And the Flowers Showered. And I remember at the time, I think it was really good teaching. It was good stuff. But what happened to Rajneesh over time, like he got blind about himself and his ego grew. And pretty soon he wanted everyone to wear a necklace with a picture of him on it. And that's like your first cue to run the other way. If I'd ever ask everyone to wear a chain button, you might want to take off. But then I think they all ended up in like Oregon and they got guns and like they all ended up in jail and the whole thing was a crazy event. So that doesn't mean that all people who practice spirituality are blind, but you know, therapy is one of those things that works on the ground karma, like you were talking about. I think it's very easy to slip into the ether of nothingness, and it's very easy to think that we're not attached when all we really have to do is breathe in, breathe out. Someone else is bringing us food, and we don't have to go to work, and we're just keeping silence. I mean, that's kind of the easy part. What Gordon was saying was really interesting. It's like, look at your life. Look at the things that keep repeating. Look at how your relationships are. Look at where the conflicts come from. And that's why we say Sangha is the most important. Somebody asked Mangal one time, what's the most important, Buddha, Dharma, or Sangha? Sangha means the community. And right away he said Sangha. And the person who asked him was surprised because he thought maybe it would be Dharma, because Dharma is the truth, you really need that. And Buddha was like the teaching, so if we didn't have the teaching, we wouldn't be able to find the truth. Right away he said Sangha. And so we learn from each other. It's like a group effort. And therapy is part of that. So not everybody needs to go to therapy, but it can be really helpful. Mm-hmm. Really helpful. And then you can go to therapists who aren't so helpful. You know, so you have to have a keen eye. We have to be like keen-eyed lion, and that's true when you're looking for a spiritual teacher. You know, they tell you to put the badge on with the picture, run for your life. You go to a therapist who's, you know, there are a lot of therapists aren't so clear. You got to keep your eyes open, and don't just don't just give your power away. You know, be open but be clear. And so I think that those things all can work together really well. There's not one tool. Like if you only think of Zen, that's like the Zen stick, the blunt instrument. But this stick can't fix everything. Sometimes you need a feather, sometimes you need a needle, sometimes you need a shovel, you know. And that's what all of these skillful means can bring for us. Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.